In the rapidly evolving landscape of global politics, the tension between Iran and Israel continues to be a critical concern. This tension, rooted in a convoluted history of conflict and power struggles, sets the stage for a unique tale of international diplomacy. The intricate relationship between these two nations is not just a simple discord, it is a vivid portrait of clashing ideologies, divergent interests, and the struggle for regional dominance. Though geographically close, they are ideologically worlds apart, straining under the weight of mutual suspicion and distrust. Over the course of decades, this tension has run like a charged electric current through the heart of Middle Eastern politics, shaping narratives, influencing alliances, and directing the course of events. The relentless pursuit of national interests, strategic positioning, and ideological supremacy have outlined the contours of this complex relationship. The effects of this discord are far-reaching, with ripples touching every corner of the globe. The complexities of this dynamic relationship, marked by decades of diplomatic challenges, have shaped the Middle East's geopolitical atmosphere. Our narrative commences in the historic year of 2021, a time when the ancient lands of Iran stood on the precipitous edge of a significant presidential election. The focal point of this highly charged political event was the hardline candidate Ebrahim Raisi. Known for his unyielding stances, Raisi was highly favored by the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, who had been a powerful figure in Iranian politics for decades. Intriguingly, the absence of moderate candidates in this election suggested a distinct shift within Iran's political landscape. This potential evolution in political dynamics hinted toward a more aggressive, confrontational stance against the West. Included in this shift was a strong opposition to the Iran nuclear agreement, a cornerstone of international diplomacy that had been a point of contention for many years. This situation set off a wave of escalating tensions, reverberating not only within the long-standing conflict with Israel, but also radiating throughout the global political sphere. The ripple effects were felt from the heated conferences in the United Nations halls to the tense discussions in the world's capitals. This intensified tensions, not only with Israel, but also across the globe. Fast forward to 2022, Lebanon and Israel, despite being in a state of war, began indirect talks. These discussions were designed to address and hopefully resolve a border dispute that was causing tension between the two nations. The source of this contention was the gas-rich Karish Field, a highly coveted area located in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. This wasn't just a geographical quarrel, the implications were much more profound. The dispute was about more than just territorial supremacy. It was about future energy security. The Karish Field held the potential to significantly shift the energy balance in the region, creating a ripple effect that could change geopolitics. Lebanon's claim to the field represented more than just a desire for resources. It symbolized its ambition to secure a stable energy future, which was a powerful motivating factor in these negotiations. Amidst these mounting tensions, Lebanon extended its claim further southward. This move wasn't without consequences, a serious threat to Israel's existing and future exploration plans. Israel, having already initiated extensive exploration efforts, felt their future energy prospects were being jeopardized. As Lebanon expanded its claim southward, it threatened to disrupt Israel's exploration plans. Meanwhile, the United States and Iran were engaged in indirect talks, attempting to revive the critical 2015 nuclear accord. This arduous diplomatic endeavor took place in the politically neutral city of Doha, Qatar, a meeting point for various international dialogues. Although the discussions were expansive and inclusive, they wrapped up with no tangible headway, thereby escalating the tension that was already heavily prevalent in the region. At the core of these discussions was Iran's journey towards acquiring nuclear capabilities, a factor that has been a source of immense global apprehension. Intensifying the magnitude of these fears is Iran's diminished cooperation with the United Nations nuclear watchdog, an agency responsible for maintaining nuclear peace and stability. This deficit of progress in the talks, however, does not herald the demise of the accord. On the contrary, it merely suggests the potential for a protracted diplomatic stalemate. The lack of progress did not signal the death of the deal, but introduced the possibility of a prolonged diplomatic stalemate. As the summer of 2022 unfolded, the tension between the United States and Iran seemed to be reaching a boiling point. This simmering conflict had its roots deeply embedded in the historical geopolitical dynamics of the two nations. The world watched with bated breath as the diplomatic chess game unfolded on the international stage. The standoff centered on a contentious issue that had been brewing for years: the nuclear deal. From its inception, this deal was hailed as a beacon of hope, a potential solution to ease the strained relationship between the two nations. However, the failure to make substantial progress in restoring it threw a spanner in the works, putting a damper on the optimism and escalating the tension. Iran's recent naval activities were another bone of contention. The increased naval deployments in the Strait of Hormuz, a critically important waterway for global oil shipping, raised eyebrows around the world. This development, perhaps a strategic move on Iran's part, certainly heightened the stakes. These activities were not just displays of military might, they were clear signals that Iran was ready to take a stand, a move that further emphasized the criticality of the situation. The summer of 2022 was turning out to be a critical juncture in US-Iran relations, a period marked by escalating tension, diplomatic failures, and strategic naval deployments. The world was watching, hoping for a peaceful resolution. After all, the stakes were too high for a misstep. As the sea waves lapped against the naval vessels, the tension hung heavy in the air. The failure to make substantial progress in restoring the nuclear deal, coupled with Iran's naval activities, emphasized the criticality of the situation. In summary, the current state of affairs between Iran and Israel is a complex web of political, economic, and security challenges. This web, however, did not form overnight. It's a result of decades of struggling relationships, evolving geopolitical scenarios, and shifting international alliances. The rise of hardline leadership in Iran has added fuel to this fire. This new leadership, with its anti-Israel rhetoric and aggressive posturing, has not only inflamed the existing tensions, but has also raised concerns across the international community. Their policies and actions, more often than not, appear to be more confrontational than conciliatory, leaving little room for diplomatic resolutions. Meanwhile, the ongoing border dispute with Lebanon has further exacerbated the relations. This dispute, rooted in historical and territorial claims, has been a constant source of conflict and tension between the two nations, often leading to violent confrontations and escalating tensions. Then there's the nuclear deal, a complex piece of international diplomacy that's been subject to much scrutiny and controversy. The complexities surrounding this deal, the disagreements on its terms and enforcement, and its potential implications for the region's security, have only added to the volatile nature of the situation. This volatile situation, which is seen by many as a ticking time bomb, continues to evolve. It becomes imperative, then, for the international community to act with urgency to defuse the situation and create a conducive environment for peace. In summary, the current state of affairs between Iran and Israel is a complex web of political, economic, and security challenges that continues to evolve. Looking ahead, the potential for future developments is immense. This is not an overstatement, but a reflection of the reality that we are living in. Two of the world's most influential nations are currently at the helm of international diplomacy, and any move they make could have far-reaching impacts. The stakes are not just high, they are astronomically high. And thus, it's no surprise that the eyes of the world are trained on them, watching with bated breath as they navigate the tumultuous and often unpredictable waters of geopolitics. The intrigue is palpable, the tension almost tangible. This is a game of chess on a global scale, where every move counts and every decision can tip the scales of power. The hope of the global community, however, remains for peaceful resolutions. This is the ideal endgame, where conflicts are resolved not through warfare, but through discourse and compromise. But the path to achieving this is fraught with uncertainty.